Hello fellow League of Legends players. Today we'll talk a little about League of Legends being a strategy game. So, with League of Legends, you want to have a strategy. And one of the most important ways to get elo right now is the level 1. Having a strategy regarding the level 1. So, first of all, you need to know your matchup. I'm not going to go over that right now. You need to know your matchup to use this information properly. And then also what I'm going to talk about is only very, very basic. I'm going to keep it at basic level. Maybe I'll make it more advanced later on. But right now, it's almost the season end, and I just want to get this out there, very basically. So, let's get started. First of all, the most important thing is the top lane. In the early game, in my opinion, is the most important, is where does the enemy jungler start? You need to know this information to play your lane properly. So, let's go over a few scenarios. Enemy jungler starts in red buff. He low 2 ganks you. When is that going to happen? On the second wave. Or first wave, depending on how fast they are. Depending on the exact path they take, right? So if you're against something like an Ezreal and other champions that can level 2 gank, you have to respect that. You have to be in a position where you can get away. So you need to look at the enemy jungler and know what's going to happen. If you get killed by level 2 gank, you will be losing your lane and you will be behind. And you won't be able to recover very easily. Alright, let's go to the second scenario. The second scenario is, again, the enemy starting on the red buff. Very normal start for them. And then they actually go into the Raptors and then into your jungle, taking your jungle. Now they're gonna gank on the third wave. Again, third wave is not that unusual, but the problem with this pathing is that it's a little bit faster than the normal pathing of enemy starting blue buff, going into his red and then ganking. So you still have to be a little careful. You can mostly spot this one if your jungler is like when your jungler enters your blue buff side, right? You can mostly spot this, so you'll see it. And also, in this case, you need to be able to move down as fast as possible and help your jungler out in a lot of cases because you can get an easy kill there. Now, let's go over the last scenario that normally happens like this. As I said, this is very basic. I'm going to keep it to a basic level and just take the most standard ones. Enemy starts blue buff, goes up towards his red side, and then he's going to gank you. That's going to be in the third wave. On the third wave here, you're obviously going to get ganked. You're very likely to die if you're pushing the enemy and the third wave is frozen around here towards his tower if you're pushing him. So, that's why it's really important to play the waves accordingly. Alright, so let's go through the standard wave things. So, let's say, somehow you invaded, you know the enemy jungler start bot side, which means, on the top side, you have a couple of options. Keep the wave in the middle, is okay. You can let him push to you, that's fine as well. And, if you're pushing him, you need to shove in on the second wave, or keep the third wave around here. You can't be up here on the third wave unless you have a massive minion stacking and you can 1v2 them, or your jungler is coming up as well. And that's all the things you have to think about when you're coming into a game. You need to know all this information when you're coming into the game. What do I want to do with my waves? Do I want to shove it in? Do I want to freeze? Do I want him to push? Do I need to push? And then accordingly, you need to figure out where's the enemy jungler starting. Which waves do I have to push in? Because this one you have to push in the second one, right? But let's say you're Renekton versus Aurelium. Very dominating matchup. You're going to win that matchup really hard early game, right? You want to abuse him as much as possible. Now, you know the enemy jungler started, for example, on the red buff, like this one. And he did not level 1 gank you. He's not level 2 ganking you either. So at that point, you're going to expect, okay, the enemy jungler went down to his bot side because you don't see him either the new junglers on the blue side. And you're going to think, yeah, I'm going to slow push the whole time. I'm not going to shove it in ever. I'm just going to hit Irelia every single time she walks up to the minions. I'm going to chunk her down, right? Like, that's one way to play around it. However, let's say you didn't have any jungle vision. The enemy jungler starts bot side. You have no idea about this. And you try to do the exact same thing where you chunk her every single time she walks up. You don't push hard. You just push slowly. Then the jungler comes up and kills you because you have no idea where he is. So, level 1, crucial. Remember, guys, you will potentially climb multiple divisions just by using these tactics and learning how to abuse them in your own laning phase. Thank you guys for now. As I said, this was a basic guide, so I didn't want to go too much in depth or anything. I will most likely be making a much more in-depth guide on this, which is going to take days upon days. But for now, we'll keep it with the basic. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope some of you guys learned from it. A lot of you guys will obviously already know this, but not everybody's as skilled as some of you guys are. See you next time.